Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. I don't even know what I was starting with that. Nameco here, Dustin, your fan Smack Talk. Sorry, football guys. It's a bi-weekly baseball video. We do have guys trying to win championship in baseball. It's going to be okay. We also try a football video tonight, so look out for that one. But, start off with the tip, Dustin.
Got a little tip for you. We're almost to the playoffs. Just a few more weeks to go. One thing I want to say, especially for daily setup leagues, make sure your bench is ready to go and ready to swap in for a lot of guys that you're going to get some off days. That's one of the things I think a lot of people don't really prepare for is how many off days people will have down the stretch. If they're in the playoffs and there's no reason to play them, or if they're out of the playoffs and there's no reason to play them. A lot of the big name guys are going to get rested. So make sure you have guys on your bench that you can plug in, at least 2 of each position. Even catcher, definitely carry 2 catchers. Just make sure you can maximize your at-bats once the playoffs start.
All right, so Dustin, let's start off with some guys you need to be adding in all leagues, and you got a pitcher for the Nationals.
Mr. Dan Haren, he's back. It's pretty impressive what he's been able to do. He's still only owned in 70% of leagues. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's back on the show again because he still hasn't been picked up in enough leagues. I'm buying it at this point. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm going to ride this out. I've picked him up. I'm riding him out. I think he has a good chance of giving us quality starts the rest of the year.
All right, the next guy is Adam Eaton. We've been talking about him all year, it feels like, and he hasn't really done anything too huge for us to say he's absolutely a must-add. But while we're saying he is a must-add, only owned in 25% of leagues right now, and as Dustin alluded to, a lot of guys are going to be resting. We just think Adam Eaton has the skill set. He could still blow up. He could be a monster for this little way out. So you know what? If you got a roster spot, and you go ahead, add Adam, and see what he can do for you.
A lot of it was just a gut feeling for me for putting him as a must-add in all leagues. I really like his upside for the rest of the year. I think he gets things going. I think he's healthy now. I think he's going to do it. But the last guy that's must-add in all leagues is a guy that I really like. Alex Wood, owned in 45% of leagues at this point. This guy's minor league stats were amazing. Over a K per inning so far in the bigs. He plays for Atlanta. They just have a way of finding great starting pitching. I really like this guy. Must add in all leagues. If you at all need any type of starting pitcher help and he's available, get him.
All right, we're going to take a look at some guys to be adding in deeper leagues, and the first one is Travis d'Arnaud, and he's a catcher. He's only owned in 15% of leagues. He was a very big top prospect. He got called up, and it hasn't really panned out yet. He's 1 for 11. When he got called up, though, everyone was gobbling up because, it's obviously tough to get catchers, especially this day and age in day leagues. Should be carrying 2. So if he did get dropped in your league, and like Dustin was saying earlier at the beginning, carrying 2 catchers at this point is not a bad idea. He is a top prospect. He could easily turn around. He isn't going to be batting, whatever that is, less than 100.
It's like 91.
91. Forever.
Donnie Murphy is next. Youngster, not a youngster, actually, an old guy for the Cubs. Second and third base eligibility, which is one of the reasons that I like him. But this is a guy that was a career minor leaguer pretty much. He's 30 years old at this point. He was in the minors for about a decade. But it looks like he's up and he might stick around. He's actually been playing amazing since getting called up this year. 7 home runs already. He's batting .340. I don't believe those numbers, but it's still hard to ignore them. I think he is worth an add in deeper leagues, mainly because of the eligibility with second and third. But you can't ignore what he's done. So I think he's worth an add in a lot of leagues.
He did really do it, but I don't believe he'll continue it.
I don't believe he'll continue.
I know they know that, but I'm just giving you a shot.
Just in case. Yeah. Right,
Next is Chris Davis, and it ain't the Baltimore Oriole. It's
Chris with a K.
Chris with a K. And here's the thing about Chris with a K. In 2012, he batted .350 in the minors. You gotta love that. He's on. By the way, he's an outfielder in Milwaukee, if you know who he is. But .350 in the minors, you gotta like that. He's definitely gonna be able to help out your average. He might give you a little bit of pop. Not a bad guy to be picking up at this point.
Sonny Gray is next. Young starting pitcher for Oakland. Another team that just seems to find a lot of great young starting pitching. His minor league stats were good, not great, so that's why I'm not, drooling over this guy like I am with Alex Wood. But he's been pitching amazing since getting called up in the bigs. It looks like his starting rotation spot is locked up, only on a 35% of leagues. I think he's worth a look in deeper leagues.
All right, now it's time to look at those guys to keep an eye on. As Dustin said like 20 videos ago, and now I'm going to look like an idiot. And the first one, the guy that I'm going to be talking about, and that's LJ Hose. At least I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. But
it is.
Gotta be. How else would you say it? But like I said, it's keeping eyes on. We look at stats, we look at facts, and this is a youngster, and this is why we like him. 23 years old, he's going to give you a decent average, probably give you some speed. He's not yet a must-add in deeper leagues, but if you're in super deep leagues, this might be a guy you should be looking to pick up.
And the last guy we're going to talk about is Brad Peacock. He's with Houston now, only owning 5% of leagues. And Houston right now is kind of going with the weird thing of having 6 pitchers in their starting rotation just because they want to see, I guess, how some of these youngsters do. It's not like they have really anything to play for at this point in the season. But Peacock is a guy that had a lot of upside. He had great years in the minors, but has had up and down success in the majors. Hasn't really been able to put it together when he's been up in the bigs. But as of late, he's been pitching well. He's a great young, he was a big prospect, so I think there's definitely the potential there. I like his upside moving forward. So keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. So that's it. This is our bi-weekly baseball show. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another one of these. Keep an eye on a lot more football videos, of course, coming. Go on the site, get any questions, put them in the forums. Follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Advice. Like us on Facebook. Circle us on Google+. Do a pen flip and get it done. So now you want to. And you dropped it. Failure.
Subscribe on YouTube.
There you go.
How do you forget about that? We're making this video for YouTube.
We're making it for the site. Go to the site and you can watch it on there too.
True. But subscribe.
Subscribe.